Hey there, Internet Best Buddies, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Ray, and today we're going to be looking at the new Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that's also co-made by Sony, because they still technically own him, Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, the first trailer for this movie I thought was really cool, and I loved the tone they were going for, and I was really looking forward to this. But I'm going to stop you guys right here. Before we get into the summary and then the review of the movie, I want to ask, who's your favorite Spider-Man up to this point? Is it Tobey Maguire? Is it Andrew Garfield? Or is it the new guy, Tom Holland? Because, yeah, he was in Civil War, so I guess he's already been Spider-Man. So, yeah, just let me know down in the comments right down here. Homecoming starts in the aftermath of the attack on New York during the first Avengers movie. Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes and his crew are working for the city to dispose of the alien remains when they are shut down by a government agency program headed by Tony Stark, which leads Toomes' crew to take what little alien tech they have salvaged, that they haven't turned over yet, and create super weapons for sale, as well as his alter ego, the Vulture. Fast forward about 8 years to a few months after the Captain America Civil War events, and we find Peter Parker struggling to adjust to his new life, juggling normal teenage high school issues such as girls and dances and bullies, while also trying to prove himself as a hero so that he can become an Avenger. While trying to prove himself to Tony Stark, he stumbles upon the Vulture and tries to stop him from stealing a lot of dangerous technology that puts both his neighborhood and his city in danger. So great performances by pretty much the whole cast. I really didn't have an issue at all. Tom Holland was literally born to play Spider-Man, and he may be arguably the perfect Spider-Man, and I really like his iteration and characterization as Spider-Man compared to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Michael Keaton also gives us what I would probably consider to be one of the best MCU villains we've had thus far. I love his storyline, I love the costume design for the Vulture, and I love how he's a very sympathetic villain. You get where he's coming from, and he makes sense. Another great thing about the Vulture character is when he and Peter Parker are one-on-one when they're not in their super suits, he is able to almost immediately figure out that he is Spider-Man, just on a few clues that are given by other characters in the situation. Probably some skills he picked up deduction-wise from an earlier role he played as a Dark Knight. On a side note down below, I've also linked my Batman 1989 review, where he was Batman, so go check that out too. Now, seeing any of the trailers for this movie, I was very worried that it was pretty much just going to be Spider-Man as Iron Man's buddy, and that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be in the movie the whole time. He's really not in the movie all that much. Only when he really needs to be, and he's used very sparingly and very well in the film. And he does a great job of being like a strict kind of mentor as well, a version of Tony Stark we really haven't seen up to this point, which was kind of refreshing. I've heard there's a few villains in the movie, but the other one that's really shown is Shocker, and he's implemented probably almost perfectly as a secondary villain, which is something that Sony up to this point had no idea how to do. The story overall is excellently placed inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe as an already established world, and connects this movie to the other films in a great way. It's a great coming-of-age story for Peter Parker. It's not really an origin, but kind of is, where we don't see anything like the Uncle Ben stuff or the Spider Bite, although they do mention it, but we see him kind of discovering and becoming more adept at his abilities, especially in a grander scale like what's going on. The movie's also really funny, and has a lot of great moments that are not just humor-based, but are also teenage romance-based and teenage angst-based. It's very much a high schooler kind of movie, but set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think the movies that go for like a specific tone, that are in the forefront, and then the superhero aspect to the back of it, are some of the best Marvel movies, like Civil War or Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Ant-Man. I think those are some of the better examples of what the cinematic universe should do going forward, which apparently they are doing, because those were more of the recent movies. There is a lot of great fan service in the movie. Sometimes fan service is a negative, but I think in this case it's really good. Returning characters that you really don't expect, to a point where I actually audibly said, oh shit, I can't believe they're in here. Because I thought that this character was done. But I'm really glad they came back. And when you see the movie, you will know. Also, don't look on IMDb because it completely reveals what I'm talking about. in the cast listing on the front page of the cast. There's a lot of references to other characters in the Spider-Man mythos, which is really cool. Like, what's his name? Miles Morales, who is a newer version of Spider-Man. He's referenced slightly. And apparently a bunch of other villains, like I said. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of great connections to the other films. That's kind of fan-servicey, like a sort of behind-the-scenes Peter Parker view of what's going on during Civil War, which was a lot of fun to see. Now, the actor who plays Ned, I don't know his name. I didn't really feel like looking it up. He's good in the movie. He's funny. He wants to be, quote-unquote, the man in the chair. Think like Oracle for Batman, where it's just someone, like, go this way through, like, an earpiece, which is really cool. He aspires to do that. Like I said, he's funny. That's pretty much the extent of his character. There's not a whole lot there other for him to just be a humorous moment or to set Peter up for a humorous moment. Zendaya, also in the movie. She's very one-note. She doesn't really have too much to her, but she's also funny. She does some great comedic moments. The character of Flash Thompson. Oh, I slurred my words. The character of Flash Thompson, unfortunately, not played again by Joe Manganiello. Not played by him. Played by this other kid. He does a good job of acting. Like, there's nothing really wrong with him. But he's just a douche. And there's literally no reason for him to be a bully to Peter Parker when they're both in, like, debate club. And they're both kind of nerds. And there's really nothing to him that strikes me as he should feel superior in any sort of way. So that was weird. There is a lot of product placement in the movie. Thanks, Sony. And the last real point I want to make about the movie is there is a character's name reveal or nickname reveal late in the film that feels really out of place and unnecessary. Nowhere near as bad as some other character name reveals in other big movies.
You should use your full name. I like that name. Robin.
But yeah, still not necessary. Honestly, I wasn't really sure how well the movie was going to be based on the trailers. And also, Spider-Man isn't necessarily my favorite superhero. 3 guesses as to who that is. But I really enjoyed the movie, and I think it's arguably one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies to date. Spider-Man Homecoming gets a 9 out of 10. There's also a Spider-Man game coming out for the PS4 in the near future. I originally wasn't too keen on it, just because, like I said, not the biggest Spider-Man fan. This movie actually really flipped my view on it, and I really want to play that game now. Totally on board. I'll totally buy it. I need some more exclusives for my PlayStation. Also, let me save you some time. There's a mid-credit scene, which is important and does some setup. You know, the teaser for future events. There's an end credit scene that really is unnecessary, even though it's fun. Completely unnecessary, and you really don't need to sit through the credits, which are also pretty cool looking, in order to see this scene. So, if you stay, cool for you. There's a little joke there, but really nothing much. If you haven't seen them, and you're interested in seeing any of the other 5 Spider-Man films, yes, there's 5. 2 separate, a trilogy and a duology. I'll leave links down below for the special editions that they just recently put out. So if you want to pick those up, they're both down there in the in the description, not the comments. Oops. So thanks again for watching, everybody. If you're new to the channel, why don't you go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the content that I put out and so you can become an internet best buddy, like the people that are already subscribed. And to my current subscribers, my internet best buddies, as always, thanks for watching. It means a great deal that you're actually watching my videos. If you enjoyed the review, found it helpful, just want to show it to a friend, definitely like it, and, like I said, share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching, everybody. See ya.